If you've ever told yourself, I don't have time to eat well, I don't have time to work out, I'm too busy working because I have so much stuff to do, you are so not the only one. This is one of the most common things I hear from my clients. And I mean, when you think about it, it totally makes sense because, you know, cooking, going to the gym, eating slowly, sleeping enough, all of these things take a lot of time. Actually, health and productivity go hand in hand. Whenever I do take the time to take care of my health as I normally do, these weeks are my most productive. And when I don't, because I have so much work to do and I just, you know, reduce my healthy habits to the minimum, I'm a lot less productive. I'm working more, but I'm having a lot less relative output. So in this video, I'm sharing 6 habits that I've started purely for my health that have done more for my focus than any productivity hack I've ever tried. Let's get into it. Habit number 1, getting sunlight into my eyes as soon as possible after waking up for about 5 to 10 minutes. What does that do for you? Well, when sun hits your eyes, or light in general, but especially sunlight, that signals to your brain that good morning, it is morning time now, aka time to be awake. And then your brain receives that signal and releases more cortisol, which is not a bad thing because in the morning your cortisol needs to be high. Yes, it is your main stress hormone, but it's also the hormone that makes you awake and alert and focused, which is something that you want early in the day. It's just not something that you want late in the day or at night, where it's supposed to be dark. So light is one of the clear signals to your brain to when to be awake and alert and when not to be. When you think about a very gray, overcast day, rainy day, or you know, the winter days where it's dark most of the day, you probably feel more tired and less able to focus on these days. Well, a good reason for that, especially if you don't have enough indoor light or, you know, daylight light, you know, the artificial very bright lights, it's because your brain isn't getting enough of that, I need to be focused and alert now signal. But not only that, also when light hits your eyes, about 14 hours after that, your body starts releasing melatonin, which is your main sleep hormone. So light is the biggest signal that you can give your brain when to be awake and alert and focused, and when to chill and get ready to sleep well. And this is of course also backed by research. This review here of almost 60 studies shows that brighter light exposure clearly improves performance, alertness, and reaction time. And obviously the best way to do this is to get an outside walk in the first hour of waking up of like 5 to 10 minutes without sunglasses, so that the light can actually hit your eyes, or at least, you know, not shaded sunglasses, only clear sunglasses, because they exist too. They just block out the UV light. But what you can also do, which is honestly what I do, is just, if you're lucky enough to have a window where you can look into the sky, or at least, you know, that is very bright, stand next to your window for 5 to 10 minutes. This is something that I do when I brush my teeth, for example. I have my morning coffee. If you have a balcony, step outside your balcony or your garden, whatever you have, your porch. And if you really live in a very dark place where there's no sunlight, or, you know, you have to get up early in the winter, try to turn on as many lights as possible and to just artificially make it as bright as possible in your home. And that helps a lot with setting up your circadian clock, which first helps with staying alert during the day, but also to sleep better at night. And when you sleep better at night, you tend to be more productive the next day. And for this, getting a good night's sleep, habit number 2 is very important and has really changed my sleep by a lot. And whenever I don't do it, I do notice the effect on my sleep, and my brain notices the effect too, namely caffeine timing. Now, obviously, everybody is different, and the research is a bit, you know, I mean, it's kind of clear, and still there are many people who say, I can drink coffee at 6 p.m. and sleep fine. Maybe you can actually sleep and you don't notice waking up, but most likely, if you would be tracking your sleep for real, your sleep quality, not only your sleep amount, most likely, if you didn't do that, if you didn't have that late caffeine, you would most likely sleep a lot better. So your quality of sleep would be better. So I love my coffee, which is why in the morning I have my coffee. Sometimes I have a second coffee, most often also a matcha. But I try to do all of these things optimally before noon, at the latest by 2 p.m. because I do notice a difference if I have a coffee at 3 or 4 or maybe 5 p.m., what I used to do in the past, because I still love my coffee, I don't sleep well. My ring told me that too. Whenever I do ignore it, sometimes, you know, when I have an espresso martini or something, could also be the alcohol, but probably also the caffeine, my sleep is a lot worse. So research actually suggests that you should have your last coffee about 7 to 8 hours before your bedtime, which if you go to bed at, let's say, 11 p.m., is 3 p.m. But of course you can trial and error. Maybe you're special, maybe your body can handle a lot more caffeine than my body, for example. So if your cutoff time is 4 p.m. or 5 p.m., you do you. But I really recommend you to try this out because it made a huge difference for me, and I can actually sleep better, and by that be more productive the next day. Habit number 3 is no phones during my meal, or at least not scrolling through short form content, which is just very distracting. And whenever I distract myself, especially with like fast paced content that is not like a podcast or something, I get stressed, because I scroll through it and then I eat quicker and I'm not even realizing that I'm eating. And then 5 or 10 minutes have passed and my whole plate is empty. And I used to be a very slow eater until I changed some things, including being on my phone more. And I got a lot faster. And since I stopped doing that, I'm eating slowly again, which is one of the most important things you can do while eating that helps your digestion and your hunger and fullness signals. And you've probably heard before that distracted eating is not good for so many reasons. Also because it tends to lead you to overeat. Because first, when you eat very fast, your brain doesn't have enough time to realize that you're actually getting full. Second, you don't even enjoy the food, and enjoyment is a very important part of eating. And third, you just don't realize that, how much you're eating. Maybe your brain is already telling you, hey, I'm full, stop eating. Or your stomach is full, stop eating. But you're, scrolling and you just keep eating. So try to put your phone down, or at least switch to something like a podcast that is calming and not stressing you out. But if you're someone, like so many people, who automatically reaches for your phone the moment you sit down to eat, to scroll through Instagram or TikTok, that bad habit can be really difficult to break. But when you think about it, that automatic reach for your phone and endless doom scrolling is not only keeping you from eating mindfully, but it's also today's probably biggest time thief, which steals away hours, if not weeks of your life, keeping you from doing the things that you actually care about, that will actually improve your life, or just from getting the things done that need to get done. But fortunately, there are apps nowadays that help with overcoming your phone addiction. For example, Reset, who are also sponsoring today's video. Reset works really well to help you overcome your phone addiction and instead build healthy, productive habits. You just turn it on and it blocks all the addictive apps until you've earned screen time on these apps. So you don't need to rely on your willpower anymore to not automatically click on Instagram or TikTok. So basically, Reset forces you to be productive or to follow your healthy habits, like not being on your phone so much, sleeping well, walking more, in order to earn your screen time. And one of my favorite features is that it automatically syncs with Apple Health, so it automatically tracks if you're doing these healthy and productive things. And then it gives you the screen time back as a reward. So when you scroll, you actually deserved it. If you want to give it a try, use the link in my description and use my code Hannah when you sign up. Now, once your phone is away, let's talk about what's actually on your plate that you're eating. Because habit number 4 is a breakfast that helps keeping your blood sugar stable, namely a protein-rich breakfast. I personally used to mostly eat some sort of cereal, usually cornflakes, because I love cornflakes, still do, for breakfast. And that was my breakfast, usually with oat milk, so I only had carbs. And then I wondered why I was feeling like I'm dying after lunch and basically all afternoon. Because when you have a carb-heavy breakfast without protein and fats around it, your blood sugar tends to rise very quickly because the sugar from the carbs drive up your glucose levels, so your blood sugar levels, and then right after that big spike, they crash down. And that crash makes you tired, makes you cranky, makes you crave a lot of sugar and unhealthy foods, and not very productive. Same goes for the lunch, by the way. I used to be I still love carbs, but back in the day, I did not know much about protein. I was not eating a lot of meat, so I wasn't getting a lot of protein, neither in my breakfast nor in my lunch. So my afternoon crush was inevitable, and I basically only got my work done before lunch, and I knew after that, my day was kind of wasted. And once I started eating enough protein, especially at breakfast, but also at lunch, for every meal, at least 20 to 30 grams, I have really noticed such a big difference. I cannot stress it enough, because I still have friends who ignore me when I tell them to eat more protein, because they say, I don't want to gain muscle. It's not only important for gaining muscle. Protein is important for so many things, including for having a stable energy, and with that, focus and productivity. Nowadays, my go-to is some sort of yogurt bowl with carbs. I still have carbs for breakfast, just, with the protein from the usually Greek yogurt, some nuts for the healthy fats, and that's a perfect breakfast along with the coffee. But if you're not a yogurt person, you can also make eggs, or if you really are, you don't have the time, or if you really struggle with preparing anything, which is why in the past you just reach for a pastry, have a protein shake. Whole foods is always better than protein shakes, but a protein shake is still better for your blood sugar levels than a cookie. Habit number 5 is movement breaks during work. Sitting for longer periods of time is one of the most detrimental things you can do to your health. But if you're someone like me, who mostly works on their laptop, sitting at a desk, what can you do? Well, breaking up those sitting periods. Don't sit for hours upon hours. Do you say upon hours? Don't sit for too long, but just get up every hour, every 30 minutes maybe, whenever you change tasks maybe. Set a reminder if you need one. I personally, whenever I finish a sort of task or a subtask, I get up and do something in my house. Usually because, I always think like I need to get stuff done. I clean up a little bit. I unload the dishwasher. I make myself a new coffee. I dance to my favorite song. That's like a 3-minute, very effective break. Any type of movement that you do, it can be a productive type of movement like cleaning, helps. If you cannot think of anything or don't want to think of anything, just get up, do 10 air squats, sit back down. That already, it takes like, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 10 air squats, probably more like 10 seconds or 20. And science clearly shows that frequent short movement breaks, for example, 1 to 3 minutes, every 20 to 30 minutes, can significantly help preserve your working memory performance. So, preserve your focus. So whatever works for you, sprinkle in some movement breaks. Now, one of the things that I as a business owner struggle with the most, and as a Gemini maybe too, is decision fatigue. Whenever I have to make a decision, my friends know that I take a lot of time. And the more decisions I have to make, the more I get into analysis paralysis. And this is not only, special to me, this is very likely to happen to you too. The more decisions you have to make every day, the more energy draining your day becomes. Which is also one reason, by the way, why our willpower to do things like working out, eating well, is usually better in the morning. Because in the morning we still have the energy that has not yet been used for things like making decisions, which is very energy draining. So what can you do to reduce decision fatigue when it comes to your health? Well, by having default meals. Thinking about what you want to have for lunch and for dinner takes a lot of mental energy, and that mental energy is limited. So when you feel like at the end of the day you cannot even try to think about what to have for dinner, so you just order the greasy takeout food for the 7th time this week, no wonder, it's not your fault. It's one thing that I've done because I got so tired of thinking about what should I eat today every day. I just figured out my default meals that I can always default to, and I have a healthy, very easy to make meal because I'm not a big cook. I don't like to spend an hour per meal in my kitchen. So I usually have 3 to 5 default meals that I rotate through, and whenever I get sick of one of the meals, I just change it up. And I build these default meals out of meal building blocks where I always have a good source of protein, good source of complex carbs, veggies, and a healthy fat source, or saturated fat source, because I also love my butter and cheese. Now, my current default meals and how I come up with, my meals and the meal building blocks and how you can choose the best ones for you is just something I also share for free in my weekly newsletter, along with also newsletters about what research says that actually matters for your health, but also, tips, things that I do in my daily life to make healthy living a lot easier and a lot simpler, because it really doesn't have to be that hard. Link in the description if you want to sign up for free for my newsletter. Now, walking is something that can help you a lot with improving your focus, with improving your mental health, with improving your sleep, which again also helps with your focus and with that your productivity. But if you've been wondering if you actually need 10,000 steps a day, or if you can get away with less, or if you should be walking as much as possible, check out this video right here where I talk about the whole 10K steps myth and break it down according to science. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you over there.